Hey guys, so today I want to talk about fat burning versus sugar burning, but I really want to focus on the fat burning, why it's important, what you get out of it, how to know the signs that you're actually burning your fat as fuel, and at the end, I'm going to talk about how to get there. What is the best, most efficient, and cheapest way to become a fat burner if you're not already a fat burner? So here's the thing, you guys. Our bodies have fat on it. We have adipose tissue. We have, fat cells on our body to be used as a fuel source. I have made many videos about how to know if you're a sugar burner or a fat burner. The benefits of being a fat burner is that you will have better brain clarity. You'll lose the brain fog. You'll have more energy. You won't have that slump in the afternoon. That's a little bit of a sign that you're only a sugar burner. And you'll also be able to lose weight. So the fat on our bodies, the adipose tissue, is there, given by God, DNA, whatever you want to call it, evolution, in order to be used as fuel. The unfortunate thing is that most Americans are not using our fat as fuel. We are only sugar burning, which means you're only burning the actual, food, immediate sugar, glucose that you're putting in your body. I like to sort of liken it to a hybrid car. So a hybrid car can use gas or it can use electricity, right? And so if the gas was the glucose or the sugar, you would burn through that. And theoretically, if you're a car, you switch over when you're done with the gas, you switch over to the electricity, which is your fat burning fuel. Now your body will go immediately to sugar burning, right? So it's its easiest way to do that. It doesn't have to work that hard to do that. But the fat to use as fuel, that's what it's actually there for, not just for emergencies, but if we have too much hanging around, it can become very dangerous. Our bodies were designed that way. Our bodies don't work well when we've got, or it was be as if you were walking around with, those red extra that you've seen on trucks before, the red extra containers of gas. Well, what if you had like 100 of those? If you saw on a car or on a truck, 100 of those red gas tanks, with the spout strapped around a car to be used as extra fuel, right? For an emergency forever and ever and ever. But the car was really just going to work and going back. It didn't need all of that. It's kind of like that. So getting back to my car analogy, you want to be able to easily flip over to your electric portion of it. And you want to, use that efficiently and be able to tap into that. That would be called metabolically flexible, and that would be called metabolically healthy. If you have 15 or more pounds to lose, you are creating more inflammation, brain fog, you're getting a slump in the afternoon, and you're not just working as efficiently as a human as you could be. So let's get to what are the signs that you are burning fat. So this is the good news. If you can go for several hours, 4, 5, 6 hours, skip a meal, not snack, that means you are efficiently burning your fat as fuel, right? You don't get hangry. As Dave Asprey puts it, you don't get hypoglycemic. We used to call it hypoglycemic, right? And he coined that term hypoglycemic, which I love, because you get shaky and you're hangry. There's lots of memes all over the internet about having to eat every 2 hours. By the way, that was never a thing. So that was never researched. Fun fact, that whole, if you're 45 and over, you know about the thing where they said in the 80s and 90s, eat every 2 hours. It boosts your metabolism. That was wrong and never researched and probably made up by big food. I don't know, the snack industry, but let's put that aside. Don't do that. If you want to be a fat burner, you do not want to eat every 2 hours. All that does is keep your blood sugar raised, and that makes your insulin go higher. And after 10 or 20 years of that, you're going to become insulin resistant. So don't do that. That was easy, right? So if you can go several hours, if you can skip a meal, no problem, then you are definitely a fat burner. The other sign that you are a fat burner is if you have no problem losing weight, right? You just go on a diet. I hate the word diet, but you just change what you're eating. Let's say you were out of town, for months at a time or something, or traveling, and you gained 5, 6, 7 pounds. You're like, oh, I got to lose this. And Monday morning comes along. It's usually on the Mondays, and you clean up your diet. You go blah, blah, blah. You're eating sort of in a little bit of a calorie deficit or throwing out alcohol and sugar, and you immediately lose weight. Sometimes we see that with men because they have more muscle mass. They have more places for that glucose to go to be used up, and then they they can burn their fat as fuel. That's one of the reasons why men can so easily lose weight is they just have more muscle mass. Even if you're a woman with a lot of muscle, you're a bodybuilder or you're consistently strength training, which is great. Strength training is another way you can become a fat burner. But if you lose weight easily, you're probably, a fat burner, and that's no problem. You don't have a problem. If you're in a weight loss plateau, like you're eating 700 calories a day, which I don't recommend, by the way, but if you're really paring down your diet, you're eating 3 meals, focusing on protein, doing all the things, and you just got on your, weight loss journey or anti-inflammatory journey, and you are not losing weight, that is a sign that you are not fat burning yet. And depending on how long you have been hanging on to 15 or more pounds, it might take you a little bit longer than what you think you need. Even, sometimes people come to me and they say, oh, after I had my babies, I easily dropped the baby weight, no problem. I just changed. Yeah. You were burning your fat as fuel. Your body was a lot more efficient then. As we age, our metabolism is not as efficiently, we're not as metabolically flexible as we were. So it's going to take some effort. Okay, here is my number one tip for being a fat burner, becoming a fat burner: intermittent fasting. Okay, now, easy to say, not so easy to do. What intermittent fasting does for you, number one is going to make a lot of sense. It allows your blood sugar to drop, and then you got to stay there for a little while so that you're lowering your blood sugar. Because if you're in a weight loss plateau and you're what I describe like barely eating anything and you're not burning your fat as fuel, you need to become fat adapted. So you're going to include in your diet lots of healthy protein, lots of animal protein with the healthy fats included. You could add some fats in like avocado, olives, olive oil, stuff like that, all that good stuff. And then you become fat adapted, which means your body is being signaled that you want it to use your fat as fuel. Here's the thing. This takes some time, depending on how much weight you've been hanging on to for years, decades, and you haven't been able to lose that same 15 pounds since you had your babies 20 years ago or whatever it was. It's going to take a lot longer because your glucose is used to being elevated. Your pancreas is used to pumping out that insulin and staying at a high level. And insulin is high. Anything over 10, you can get that checked. Your fasting insulin, I've mentioned it on many videos. By the way, if you like this video, please click the subscribe button. I have lots of videos on lots of things. And at the end of this video, you'll see some of my recommended videos about what to eat for breakfast. And I can post also in my shorts video on Ozempic, by the way, if you're interested in that. But I digress. Okay, so back to intermittent fasting. So what intermittent fasting does, like I said, is it brings down that glucose level so that your body depletes of the glucose and then will turn over onto fat burning. Easy for me to just say it, harder to do. So you're going to have to go a little bit low carb also because your body will be, that carbs, no matter what they look like, will ramp up that glucose, and that will keep giving your body the glucose it wants to use as fuel. So you have to deprive it a little bit of mainly the carbohydrates that come in bags, boxes, and barcodes. You want to stay away from those. Carbohydrates for several weeks, off of rice, quinoa. Yes, I know they're healthy. Yes, I know they have fiber, even whole grain rice and wild rice and all that stuff. Very high in carbohydrates, peas, starchy vegetables. You want to stay off of those for 3 to 4 weeks and really go almost zero carbs, 50 grams of carbs or less, and get all your carbs from your vegetables. Vegetables are carbs. You can get all your carbs from there. You don't need to have any refined carbohydrates in your diet. So that's what you're going to do to kind of bring that glucose down. And that way your body will be signaled that you are wanting to burn the fat as fuel, which is linked to intermittent fasting because it'll just make it easier for you to fast. Now, make sure that you're fasting in a 12-hour window. If you're not doing that, like let's say 7 o'clock p.m. is the last bite you put in your mouth, 7 a.m., is the first thing you put in your mouth. If your coffee has milk, that breaks your fast. So you want a clean fast. I have other videos about clean fasts. And then if you're at 12 hours, go to 13. If 7 to 7, go 7 to 8, then 7 to 9 a.m., then 7 to 10 a.m. That's the easiest way to start becoming fat adapted and start to teach your body to use fat as fuel, because that glucose will come down and your body will switch over when it needs to in the morning to burn that fat as fuel. Now, if you're over 45, effective, your next steps are going to be to sort of bring that forward and have a lighter dinner and have lunch be sort of the largest meal of the day. Those are all sort of the rules within intermittent fasting. Your goal is to get to fasting for 16 hours. That is the best way to become a fat burner. So more videos on that. Watch my videos here and click the link to subscribe. I've got lots of great tips, especially for women over 45 with an autoimmune condition, because if you have an autoimmune condition, you do not want to have 15 or more pounds. I would even argue 10 on you, depending on the severity of your symptoms of your autoimmune condition. I talk a lot about this in a lot of my videos on YouTube. So anybody with an autoimmune condition, you want to maintain a healthy weight for you, which is, there's a margin of error there, and don't go by BMI. That's outdated science, but you do want to maintain a healthy weight. If you have 15 or more pounds to lose, you're creating more inflammation than needed, because your adipose tissue is not just the fat there, is not just hanging out, holding up your pants. It's actually producing inflammatory cytokines. If your microbiome is not balanced, if you've got some gut issues, you're also creating inflammation. So there's other things that create inflammation, but one of them is this inability to burn your fat as fuel. Okay, guys, that's it. See ya.